I want to introduce two people first before we get started, just to say a couple of words before we do our customary thank yous and everything else. Both are two people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Andy Furman, who's our chairman of the town appropriated board of directors, what we call our council, Andy Furman, and Rick Green, who is the president of the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center, Inc., which is sponsoring tonight's event completely and also dishing out major money for scholarships tonight. So if I could have Andy come up to say a couple words along with Rick. Thank you. Andy Furman, Rick Green.
Thank you, Rick. And thank you all for coming out tonight. What a fantastic evening and what a great opportunity it is to finally be out and be together. I want to thank the Joseph N. Herman Board for everything they do to support the youth in our community and for putting on this event and having the opportunity to recognize some of our most outstanding young adults. Congratulations to everybody. I've spent the last 6 to 9 months making sure that the staff at the Youth Center has received the appropriate amount of recognition for pulling off all the programs that they have over the last year. And as I thought about coming here tonight, as we're recognizing our youth, there's a group that we haven't recognized enough, and that's the kids and the participants in the programs. They have done a fantastic job. All of you here tonight have done a fantastic job, your classmates and your friends. Without everything you've done, the programs that Rick and his staff and the community have put together would not have been possible. Congratulations to all of you. I wish you much health and happiness. Thank you.
To follow up on Andy, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. As I understand, this is the first event of the year at the Stevens Estate, so it's a beautiful night, and it's a special occasion for all the students who are receiving scholarships tonight. Congratulations to all of them. And I do want to take a moment to thank Rick, Demi, and the entire Youth Center staff. It's quite an amazing feat what's been pulled off through the year of pandemic, the way the Youth Center has operated, the programs that have been offered, and most of all, importantly, is I don't think there's been any COVID cases, which is quite amazing. So really, hats off to them, and I think what we've seen through donations over this past year is really a reflection of the efforts that Rick and his staff have put in this year. And again, I'd also like to thank the town manager, Melissa Rodriguez, and Dee Casey for their support, as well as the Board of Health. They really did a great job allowing Rick to take the lead and pull this together this year. So again, thank you to them. However, this night is for the kids who are receiving scholarships. This year, we were able to give some more money away and more scholarships. So we felt in a year where COVID was affecting everybody, it was appropriate. And we did have a good year of fundraising. So again, congratulations to all our scholarship winners. I'd also like to thank our scholarship committee. We had a tough time this year. We had a lot of applications to go through and a lot of quality applications to go through. And we tried our best to get it right. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we offered more scholarships this year to kind of account for that. And I wish you all the best of luck next year and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick and Andy. So I do want to echo the scholarship committee that Demi and I are not on the committee. Quite frankly, it would be very hard for me to be on the committee because I'd want to give every kid that applied scholarship money, because every year it's an incredible group, but there's been no group like this class of 2021. So I want to thank again the scholarship committee that put a lot of hours in going through all of the applications and really making the best decisions. And as I look at the kids who didn't get scholarships, there are so many outstanding kids that didn't, but this is the best of the best. In terms of everything that was asked in the application, the community service, the academic requirements, things they've done with the youth center, and it's a very, very special group. So thank you to our scholarship committee. We have been doing this now for, I think it's 14 years that we're actually giving out scholarships, and in the last 6 years we've been doing the Youth of the Year. And it has usually been part of the auction that we usually have in the spring every year. We were not able to have it in 2020, obviously during the pandemic, and we were not able to have it in 2021 because the guidelines did not allow it. We're hoping that our auction will be back in 2022. Holly and the committee are already working on that, so we're excited. But we as a committee with the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center made a decision that a lot of us had thought about, and we kind of firmed it up last night, that we're probably not going to make this part of the auction going forward. We feel that it needs to be, it's by itself, that it needs to be something that's recognized. I joke with Holly, where's Holly? Holly at the auction is usually giving me a death stare, pointing to her clock, because I spent 13 seconds talking about some kid. And that was too much, I guess. So what we're doing tonight, and congratulations to all of you, because you're going to be the first that's going to be doing this on a regular basis. And so every May, we'll do this, and what better place to do it at our own Stevens Estate. And I want to thank Joanna and everybody at Stevens Estate that made this possible for us. I think it's going to be a great place, and going forward, I don't have to worry about Holly checking the time for me, and we're going to be able to say some really good things about each of our scholarships. And then we're going to focus on our 2021 Youth of the Year, Ava Samanek, and listen to an amazing speech that she put together. So thanks to everybody. I do a few other thanks. I will echo, and I say this a lot, been here as long as I've been here. I've worked with every town managers that town has ever had. And working for DKC and Melissa Rodriguez has been the highlight of my career. They have been the utmost support for us to pull off something that everybody thought I was literally crazy to try to pull off last summer. And Rick mentioned it. We have now on 11 and a half months of being open without one day of closure and not one COVID case with the kids. So it's an amazing feat. And it would not have happened if it wasn't for my staff over here. I'd like to give them all a big shout out. Our newest staff, Jen Battersby, Lauren Sanford, Asia Valdez, Kyle Beans Palladino, and the person that everybody thinks actually runs the youth center, Demi Marsh. I need to keep telling Dee and Melissa that I haven't retired yet. Just give me a little more time. But Demi is obviously a big part of what we do here, and I'm so proud to work with these guys every single day, and I'm so proud to work with these high school kids. All of the kids that we're honoring tonight are a major part of why we were not closed one single day in the last year. So without further ado, let's kind of do a couple other quick thanks. Besides the Stevens Estate, let's give it up to our friends from Joe Fish. It was very important. It was very important for us to work with a business from North Andover. It's been a tough year for our businesses. So for me, it was there was no way I was working with no offense to restaurants outside of North Andover, but it was important for me to work with the restaurants in North Andover. Kaylee Monroe, one of our former great kids who runs a great balloon business in North Andover, donated this arrangement today that we're going to be doing the pictures with the kids. And again, I want to thank the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center, the Youth Council for making this happen for us today. Mike Holland from Holland Flowers donated all the arrangements, and Demi did a phenomenal job of adding all the pictures of the kids that are at each table of the kids, and that's something you guys take home tonight too, so that's special for that. Christina Minacucci is not here, so Demi, I'm appointing with the power of the governor, I'm appointing you as our representative. Come on up here. Christina Minacucci also contributed that every one of our recipients tonight will receive a citation from the State House, and it's signed by our representatives Trom and Minacucci. So when you receive your scholarship tonight, you will also, Demi will present you guys with your citation. How we're going to kind of roll this out, big thanks to our guys over at NACAM, by the way. By the way, if there's been a department in North Andover that's done as much as we have done in the pandemic, it's been North Andover Cable Television. They have done a phenomenal job recording everything that's happened in this town in the last 365 days. So Brian, thank you for again recording this tonight. And for all those people that want to watch this, this is being recorded. It'll be on cable station. I know the Samanek family out in Cleveland, Ohio is trying to find a way to get North Andover Cable Television so they can watch the stream of that. So again, let's get to our first scholarships. We have been fortunate for the last number of years through the efforts of Frank Connealy to also give out 2 scholarships in the memory of a former North Andover basketball player. There was actually a player here when I first started here that died way too young. He was a classmate and a teammate of Frank, and he has established 2 scholarships each year, one to a female basketball player at North Andover High School and a boy basketball player at North Andover High School that also are involved with the youth center. So I'd like, first of all, Frank Connealy, who's a former president of our Joseph N. Herman, come up, just tell people a little bit about the scholarship, and then we're going to present our first 2 scholarships. Frank Connealy, everybody.
No hugs to you, Rick, just for Demi. Again, thank you, Rick, so much for allowing me to be here today to say a few words about Bill and about our scholarship. Again, I'm Frank Connealy. I am a graduate of North Andover High School, class of 1985, and alumni of the basketball program. When I was playing at North Andover High, we had the best team. And when I say best team, I don't mean, wins and losses, although we were pretty good. We were very close. We were brothers. We had 8 seniors on our team, which is very rare, to see a team with that many seniors. We were very close. We were all committed to each other. So much so that we all played for Mike McVeigh. And when Mike retired a few years ago, all 8 of us came back from all over the country to be together to celebrate Mike. Unfortunately, that was the last time that we were all together because a few months later, our teammate Bill Meckel passed away unexpectedly about 5 years ago. Bill was the ultimate teammate. He would do whatever was necessary. If that meant getting a rebound, that's what he did. Guarding the toughest player on the other team, that's what he did. Or getting the ball with 2 seconds left in the state tournament and sinking the buzzer beater, he would do that too, and he did. But he was an even better friend, always looking out for all of us. He left North Andover High, went to Boston College, got a degree in finance, and started his own financial planning business. He married his high school girlfriend, had a daughter, Caitlin, and had a very successful financial planning business. One of the things that he loved to do the most was to help young families plan for college. And so what a better way to honor Bill than to give out a scholarship and help folks, help young people go to college. So when Bill passed away, all of us that were close to Bill wanted a way to recognize him, so we established this fund. I came right to Rick because I knew Rick's connection with kids. I knew Rick knew the history of our group. Even though the youth center wasn't there, we spent a lot of time on that property playing basketball on the basketball court. And we established this scholarship. Tonight, we'll give out 2 more scholarships, which will be a total of 13 now since Bill passed away, and totaling $32,500. So all of this money is raised by a small group of people. This does not come from the auction. This is separate, that we raise the money and give it to the youth center to give out 2 more scholarships to a basketball player who's involved in the youth center. So I want to say congratulations to all the scholarship winners. And thank you again to the Joseph Herman board for allowing us to do this, for Rick for allowing us to do this, and to Solana and Chris for receiving this scholarship. This is a special year for me because I think I know just about all the scholarship winners because y'all went to school with AK, so he sends his best as well. So thank you for allowing us to do this, and thank you for letting me say a few words about Bill. Appreciate it.
We're going to have you hang on, Frank. Let me give you these 2. So we are starting with the Mecca Scholarships, and we have 2 very, very special recipients of the Mecca Scholarship. The first one is someone that I have actually got to know. I remember when she was born. Her father is one of my closest and dearest friends, and she is somebody that grew up a lot at her father's place at Andover Youth Services. And last year I had the fortunate to actually have her work for me at Summer Fun. It was like getting a veteran. Her years of working for her father, she knew exactly what to do and working with kids. And she was great. She had some of the most creative ideas. Remember, last summer, we had to be creative, right, Callista? We had to be creative on just about everything. And Solana was unbelievable in coming up with new ideas and never being depressed that we had cohorts and, that numbers had to do it. And we had to wear masks all the time. And we had to have Rick come every day and say, don't do anything after work today. Stay in your house because we don't want you to get COVID. and all the things that went along with that. Besides her work for us here at the Youth Center, she's been a member of our high school lacrosse program for 4 years. She's been a member of our basketball program for 4 years, and this year was captain. She was just announced to make the MBCA North All-Academic Team. As I said, she's worked at Summer Fun and at Andover Youth Services. She's a proud member of our National Honor Society. She is a student ambassador at North Andover High School and part of the Unified Champions program. She will take both her academic and her athletic career to one of the finest business schools in the world next year at Babson University. Our first scholarship goes to Solana Fahey. Congrats, Solana. Heather, you guys want to take pictures? You can take pictures. We are going to do this, if you can just bear with us, because I want parents to be able to take a picture with Frank. And go ahead now. Also want to give a big shout out to our professional photographer we have here today, Jazzy J. She actually has been responsible for running some photography programs at the Youth Center, and she ran a photography editing program last season, which was great. So tonight she's here to record all this for us too. So thank you, Jazzy J. Our second recipient of the Mecca Scholarship goes to a young man that I had the pleasure of knowing since he was in the 5th grade. And it was really kind of outside the Youth Center. It was part of my basketball training stuff that I do on the side. And I got to meet Chris, and then been involved with his training throughout his career into high school. But Chris followed in the footsteps of probably one of the greatest people we've had here at the Youth Center, Sydney Pensavalli. She's a past Youth of the Year, presently at UMass Amherst. And it was tough for Chris coming to work for us because he had big shoes. He was not Sydney, okay? And as I told his parents today, the most impressive thing for me was to see the growth that Chris found his own way at the Youth Center. He didn't have to follow in Sydney's footsteps. He was amazing. The kids love him. I tell a quick story that happened on Saturday. Chris actually, when I first met him, sorry, Chris. First time Chris came into my gym, he shot the ball, and it actually went over the backboard. So I kind of thought for a second and said, we probably got some work to do. So I told the 5th graders on Saturday the story. And I said, with hard work, he got better and better and better. And Chris, show him how you shoot now. And the pressure must have been on, but he airballed it. And I've never seen so many 5th graders hysterically laughing on the floor of the Youth Center. But he did say it was planned that way, and I'm sticking with that too. So Chris has been an amazing member of our Youth Center. We're going to miss him dearly, like all of them. He's been a 4-year member of our Youth Council. He has played basketball for 4 years at North Andover High School. He also played soccer and track for 1 year. He has worked Summer Fun for a number of years. He's worked in the building. He was part of what's called our Think Tank 2. Our Think Tank 1 was the college and high school kids had put on last summer. The Think Tank 2 was established to kind of, how are we going to get this whole school year going? I remember meeting with Melissa and Dee in September with my plan of how we were going to reopen the Youth Center. And I know Melissa was probably saying, oh, here he goes again. We're going to try to figure out how we're going to do this. But we relied on people like Chris to really plan it and work the cohorts. And the Youth Center was a lot different. Bill, who runs a Youth Center too, knows it wasn't the old thing where it could be a drop-in center. Everything had to be scheduled, cohorts, and things like that. Chris was a big part of what we pulled off this year. He has also been awarded the Employee of the Month this year. He will be taking his talents to UMass Amherst this next year. So, Chris Pensavalli. Thank you, Frank Connealy. If I can have Rick Green come back up. All right, our first member of the Youth Center Scholarship, and again, there was many people that applied. The Mecca was more of a criteria that had to be involved with the Youth Center, but also had to be a basketball player. This was for anybody that had worked with us, been part of our program, participated, volunteered, or whatever. It was the most applicants we've ever got, and Rick said it, other people said it was the hardest year. I do talk a lot about this. I actually get a little emotional about this. This class of 2021 is one of the best grades that I've ever worked with. And when you are someplace as long as I've been, 33 years, there are certain grades that come around, and I can think of, in 33 years, I can think of 4 or 5 grades that just were off the charts great in terms of what they gave back to their community, the type of kids they are, and the legacy they've left on the youth center. And I remember telling the selection committee, you got a lot of work to do because this is such a good grade and it's going to be really hard. So the first Joseph N. Scholarship is going to go to a young man that I think what I'll miss most about this person is he actually thinks he's smarter than everybody, including myself. He can debate you. He will challenge you. And he actually does research. He doesn't wing it. He's pretty intelligent when it comes to it. But I do think I'm talking to my father every time I talk to him. It got so bad we used to see him sitting behind the front desk where only the full-time staff go. And, I really feel he'd rather hang out with us than his own peers. And I know he has lots of great friends, but I would like him just to be a little more of an 18-year-old kid. And quite frankly, I don't want to keep answering to my father every year. So he's been an amazing kid for us. We got to know him. Demi could write a book about the stuff that he's done with her. Just a fine young man. He's one of those kids that always, whatever you do for him, I'll get him something in the mail. It'll be a thank you card, just appreciating it. And that's big for me, the kids appreciate what you do. So I'm talking about Sean Scully here. He has been a 2-year member of our youth council, 4-year member of the football team, 4-year member of the baseball team. He, weirdly, is the Powder Puff Coach of the Year in his mind. But he's the only Powder Puff coach that actually wears headsets like it's the NFL, which I'll never quite get used to that. But he also, I've done a lot of analysis on head coaches that wear beige pants, and that the winning percentage for the coaches that wear beige pants in basketball is less than 49%. Sean Scully believes that is not a factor, and he told Jake Walensky, don't come and coach tonight unless you're wearing beige pants. So he's also the director of officiating for flag football for the Boosters Club. He's coached Boosters basketball, a big member of the National Honor Society. He's worked Summer Fun. He has worked in our building here, and I'm really proud of him. He's heading to Providence College next year. Sean Scully, everybody. Scully's, come on up and take a picture. Congratulations, Sean. Okay, next up is a young lady, and she's heard me tell this story for 100 times, so sorry, Em, it's 101 times tonight. So I go down to this restaurant in Middleton, nice little Italian restaurant, because we're celebrating our Department of Public Works directors retiring. And the long story short is we still don't understand why Rick Gorman was reporting to the Department of Public Works. That was my boss. But he was a great guy, and I was not missing this retirement party down in Middleton. So I run into the Driscolls. Now, the Driscolls, I have actually hired both of the sons, and, I come over, I talk to them, and, of course, they don't even introduce me to this girl. So I'm assuming that it's Danny Driscoll's girlfriend. So I see both of the Driscoll brothers the next day, and I'm like, hey, who was that? Your girlfriend or your brother's girlfriend? He's like, it's my sister. And I said, nobody's ever told me you have a sister. And that was our first involvement with Em, and she came to the youth center and shy, was that a kind of a good way to say it? And Demi we believe in everybody, right? She throws her at the front desk. Since when do you put a shy person at the front desk? And as Em knows, the one thing you don't miss is don't screw up Rick's phone calls, right? So it was pretty stressful for Em, but she has shown so much growth over the years. She is beloved by everybody at the youth center. And if you do know her, she knows she is one of literally the nicest people you'll ever meet. She's been on our youth council for 4 years. She's a member of Lauren's Adventure Leaders program for 2 years. She's assisted with the Special Olympics program. In the summer, she's transitioned to be part of our very popular Girl Got Game program. She's worked in the building. She does the front desk, and she does it really, really good. But she's done everything. We had to move her to ballet on the rock wall. We had to have her take our kids walking around town. So she can do a little bit of everything. She is quiet still to a certain degree, but we love her and we're going to miss her. She's heading to UNH next year. Emma Driscoll. Emma Driscoll. Next up is a real special young woman. I've had the pleasure of knowing her father for many years. It is amazing that both of us do not have one non-gray hair in our head now. But there was a time when he was an intern at North Andover High School, and I was this new director at your North Andover Youth Center. Steve Nugent became not only a great friend, but a great partner. We have been involved with some wonderful things that have happened in this town, and we've been involved with some really sad things that have happened in this town. And he's our director of guidance at North Andover High School, and he's got an amazing family. Both of his daughters work for me. And Molly Nugent is just one of those kids. She lights up a room when you see her. I don't think she's ever come into the youth center where she's not smiling. I'm sure she has a bad day, but I would never know that. She's amazing with how she works with different kids at summer fun. She's had a buddy. She's willing to do whatever it takes to do on this. She's just a really special young woman. I told her tonight my only regret, because she is a three-sport athlete, is that she never worked in the building during the year. We've only hired her during the summer because I know how good she would have been in our building because how good she was in the summertime. So Molly has been a 3-year member of our youth council. She did 4 years of cross country, 4 years of indoor track, 4 years of outdoor track. Her father is the coach, so I hope it was by personal choice. But obviously a premier three-sport athlete, like we have a few other people here. She's been part of our now defunct Helping Hands program, but did a great job with that. She's one of the more impressive people in the Powder Puff program, besides Sean wearing the headset. Member of our National Honor Society, great summer fun worker, as I said, and heading south to Clemson University. Molly Nugent, everybody. Next up is another, and again, they're all amazing. I'd be crazy if I didn't say that about each one of them. This individual is somebody that I've gotten to know since like Chris in the 5th grade. I trained him in basketball, but he's the premier three-sport athlete in town here. We have a nickname for him called the La Machine because I just think there's nobody that actually goes as hard as he does, works as hard as he does. He wouldn't even wait for his parents to come tonight. They had to take separate cars because he needed to be here a half hour early. But that's the way he is. You know, he's somebody that has a big injury right now, but he's so resilient, so positive to come back. We had a board meeting last night, and Demi was having her last youth council meeting, and they're playing dodgeball in the gym. And he is in a chair on the court with like 3 balls. He's got 1 leg. And, you know, someone walks by me and says, wow, you guys are really inclusive around here. And I looked at Jake, you know, trying to battle on dodgeball in a chair. But that's kind of who he is. Did a great podcast on him in terms of resiliency and what it takes to be really serious. He's had, this injury has kind of delayed a little bit. He was accepted to the United States Naval Academy. He will be PGing at Suffield Academy and taking a look at possibly the Naval Academy next year. He has been a football player for 4 years, captain his senior year, basketball player 4 years, captain his senior year, lacrosse 4 years, captain his senior year. Not many kids in North Andover can say that they are a three-sport captain, and he is. Member of our summer fun program. I don't know how he's going to do it with one leg this year, but he is just resilient in terms of like chasing kids around and stuff, and I'm sure I'll have to be yelling at him to take it easy a little bit. He's a member of the Student Council Executive Board, National Honor Society, he's rep flag football, and as I said, he's doing a PG year at Suffield Academy. The La Machine, Jake Walensky. And he's wearing beige pants just to upset me. Congratulations, Jake. Next up, we're going to do them separately, but they are not just sisters, they are twins. They are amazing, and I can write a book about each one of the things that these girls have done. I'm going to start with Ainsley Dion. We got to know Ainsley Dion by just getting involved with our program. I have never seen her and her sister. I don't know how people can be that happy all the time. And I think I'm a pretty positive guy. But if you ever saw these guys run programs and everything else, it is like we say, you got to get pumped. You got to do it for the kids. You got to do this. And I get out of the middle school, and I can't even get out of my truck. I'm so exhausted watching those two run around and do everything. They just are amazing. So, Ainsley, you have been a big part of what we're doing here at our Girl Got Game program, which everybody knows. We have the most girls ever signed up for Girl Got Game this summer, and a lot of it has to do with them and the Dions and Soph and everybody else. But it's an incredible program, and you guys have left your legacy on that. Ainsley has been a 4-year member of our youth council, member of National Honor Society, Powder Puff, Girl Got Game in the summer. She worked in the building. They had like one season off. We had 4 seasons this year. They had one season off, and what do? They come to the youth center and run around and play sports every day. Lacrosse, indoor track, soccer, all 4 years, captains in all 3 sports. She's helped with youth soccer and youth lacrosse. Just an amazing young person. And you got 2 sisters heading to the NESCAC. I know Ainsley and Kels are going to just do so many amazing things. Ainsley is heading to Colby College next year. Ainsley Dion. And it only took me about a year to actually figure out who was Kelsey and Dion. So it was always good to say, hey, Dion, what's up? Because I knew I was always right when I said that. Our second one is her sister, Kels, the same thing. In terms of Girl Got Game, the legacy they've led, as I said, just the excitement and the motivation. They're such role models to young girls. It's so impressive. Member of our youth council for 4 years, National Honor Society, as I said, Girl Got Game, worked in our building, her along with her sister and Soph and Molly. I actually watched them win the last Powder Puff game, and again, Sean's play calling was probably really good, but the girls were amazing. Also helped out with youth lacrosse and soccer. They're going to be going to 2 different states to see their daughters play, but Kels is heading to Middlebury College this year. Congratulations, Kels. Okay, next up is another one of our incredible seniors. I tell this story, I think I told her parents maybe for the first time tonight, but it is the hardest job in the world trying to pick the summer jobs. And it gets to the point where you truly, I'm just looking for your card, so hopefully I didn't drop it in the parking lot. See if you can find it. Okay. So Sophie did not get a job the first year. And I think, Sophie, you were a sophomore maybe? Was it sophomore? Okay, which is kind of the first year that we actually, thank you. So I wasn't going to let you down. And I think she talked to Sydney Pensavalli. And Sydney Pensavalli had done this before too. You know, basically Sydney said, well, if you really want the job, you got to go tell them you want the job and show them you really want this. So when Sydney came in, it was like on the verge of tears, and I really wanted this job. What can I do? I'll do whatever. If I can, I just want to get in the building. Maybe I can get a job next year. Sophie came in a little more determined. And she basically just said, I want to know why I didn't get the job. And I gave her a lot of credit because, as some kids will say, oh, he's, you know, go to the corner office, you know, he's big, he's mean, he's tough, you know. And I kind of think I laughed, and I just said, well, what do you mean? And she basically said, I've done everything that I think someone should get to get this job, and you know, I really want this job, and I can show you that. And then in a pure miracle, we had someone withdraw the job, and she got the job at Girl Got Game. And I'll never forget that. And it's been a message to a lot of people, like, if you really want something, or at least go fight for it, right? The answer, she knew the answer could be no, or maybe it would be yes. And what I always loved about Sophie is that she really sticks up for herself, and you know, she's been an amazing worker for us, to the point where I sit there and say, Demi, why didn't we hire Sophie already? She was just that good of a worker. So Sophie's been in our youth council for 3 years. She was in our Helping Hands program. Soccer, 4 years, captain. Ice hockey, our great girls ice hockey program for 4 years, captain. Another one of the great powder puff kids. She worked for us with Girl Got Game, and she works in the building. And I always say this, like, we move Sophie around so much. Oh, we need someone to play basketball, Sophie will do it. We need someone to do pickleball, Sophie will do it. And now we got this thing, Sophie, we need someone to walk kids around town from this exploration program. So what's Sophie doing? Walking kids around town. She can do just pretty much everything we ask her to do. She was also a Brooks skating guard for us on Sunday nights, you know, just trying to keep some order over at Brooks. She's in the National Honor Society, the treasurer. She's a student ambassador. So proud of her, heading off to Syracuse University next year. So, Sophie. Okay, we've got our last one on the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center scholarship. This is someone, and we talk a lot. I've probably gotten closer to Callista than even most of the kids that work for me, just because her schedule has kind of worked around when I've really needed her the most. She's been my lifesaver on Saturday afternoons. She works the front desk. And it's somebody that's interesting. She would have never come to us if she didn't tear her ACL. She couldn't play soccer, and I think her mother or dad said to her, maybe you can go down to the youth center and see if they're hiring or whatever. We talk about it a lot. It might have been the best thing that ever happened to you, to a certain degree. It opened other doors for you. The biggest thing is she's one of the toughest kids I ever met, coming back from a ACL injury, and you know, enjoying a great lacrosse season on our phenomenal girls lacrosse program that we have. And she's just been a big part of us. She's also been the only kid that's been on my podcast twice, and a part of it was on resiliency, and the other one was she talked about what she did last summer with the effects of having a buddy at Summer Fun is in changing a kid's life. And she's been involved with a phenomenally great amount of things here at the youth center. Youth council for 2 years. She was lacrosse 4 years, captain, indoor track for 4 years, powder puff, worked Summer Fun. And part of that buddy program I'm talking about. She's worked in the building, National Honor Society. She's helped with youth lacrosse. She was one of every year we give, they don't let me give any awards away anymore, so we created the Directors Award at Youth Appreciation Day. So Callista was one of the main members of getting the Directors Award, and obviously well-deserved. Just a phenomenal person, and the growth I've seen with all these kids, and I was talking about Emma, I've seen the same amount of growth with Callista, and And I tell her father all the time, I'm going to really miss her a lot when she leaves. Heading off to Vassar College next year, Callista Ringler. Rick, we're going to have you stay up for one more. All right, how about a round of applause for all of our scholarship winners? Great group of kids that are going to do great things. I know that for sure. And a special thank you to all the parents of these kids. You entrusted them working with us. You entrusted that we would do right by them, that we would help them grow. I think we did a pretty good job with that. But nobody can take away what you guys did in raising those kids, all special kids. So one more time, our scholarship winners. All right, every year we pick a Youth of the Year. How many years, Dem? 6 years. This is our 6th Youth of the Year. We have a very distinct process on this. In October, we start to take a look, and it has to really go to a senior. We look at someone that we want to honor that's done a lot for the youth center. We have a process. The process was really hard this year. We started with 16 kids. Any of those 16 kids could have been this year's Youth of the Year. It was such a great grade. We go through what we think. It's our staff that actually picks them. We start with a process. We go from 16 to 12 and think we're really making strides. And then we meet and we go from 12 to 8, and then we're like, oh, we're cranking now. And then we go down to 4. And it's the final 4 that we take a look at as who really wants to represent that. Ava Salmonek, every time we did this, just had more votes than everybody else. There was a point system to it, and you knew she was going to be in the final 4. When we look at the 6 people that have won the award, they have been phenomenal people. Some of the stuff that they're doing now in their careers has been amazing. We always put Sydney Pensavalli as probably the epitome of what the Youth of the Year really is. And as I said to the Pensavallis tonight and to the Salmoneks, like, Ava's the closest thing probably we've had to Sydney Pensavalli. Her willingness to really buy into the youth center. And like we talk about what happened with Callista's ACL injury, it all started for Ava that she didn't make the field hockey team. And it was something that, we talked about it then. It was a devastating thing for her. She wanted to play field hockey, and she had to make a decision. And her decision was to maybe try something at the youth center. I had always known Ava because Dave, her father Dave, is a very, very close friend of mine, someone that I rely on a lot for other things. And I knew she was a great kid because I've worked with all of Dave's kids. I had Thomas, I had Matt, and then we got young Ava. And she started out just doing all the little things, whatever we needed her to do. She epitomizes pretty much everything that we live by at the youth center. She's compassionate. She's empathetic. Selflessness is unbelievable. The amount of community service she does. She's so humble and kind. We put on a vaccination clinic for our senior citizens in town, and Ava was one of the people that worked the front desk that day. And it was an amazing experience putting on that vaccination clinic. But when we got to the second vaccination, there was talk that we were going to be able to get 18-year-old kids vaccinated. So who's behind the computer, figure out how we're going to do this and how we're going to get all of our kids working for us is Ava. And she had a step-by-step plan, like this is telling kids literally what button to push on the website to do it. It was amazing. So I basically told her, we're going to call this the Ava process or something like that. And she was like, I'd really like to talk to you. I don't want to take credit for it because my friends had a lot to say in it, and I just don't want to I didn't do more than anybody else. And I'm looking at her like, you did everything. You did everything I asked you to do, but that's kind of the person she is. We have 5 values at the youth center, which all of these scholarship winners represent. Kindness, empowerment, culture, growth, and passion. Those are the 5 things that we live by, and those are the 5 things that are going to live with all of our programs. Each one of our values has Ava Salmonek next to it. She is probably one of the kindest people I've ever met. the way that she empowers young people, the way I think we've empowered her, is phenomenal. She has bought into Rick's culture, the youth center's culture, like nothing else. Like, she has bought into everything we've done. The growth that I've seen in basically little Ava to now is unbelievable. And passion could be her middle name. Those are the 5 values, and those are the things that she epitomizes, not just to me and to my staff, but to the kids in North Andover. I am so proud of what she has accomplished at our youth center. She's been a 4-year member of the Youth Council. She's been 4 years with Special Olympics. When she was a sophomore, she put on a basic dance for special ed kids, put it all herself. You know, Kyle ran it with her, but she did everything, and Kyle will be the first to say that Ava did everything. She put on this phenomenal thing, which should have went on last year, but we got shut out because of the pandemic. But it is always going to be her legacy of what she's done, and post-pandemic, Ava, it's coming back, and it's all because of you. She's worked in our building. She's worked at Summer Fun. She's won numerous awards at our Youth Appreciation Days events. She will be heading to Fordham University this year, breaking the family tradition of not going to Boston College. But I know she's going to do great. We're going to miss her. She's beloved by our staff. Is that a fair statement? She is beloved by our staff. And it is a no-brainer. And again, all of those people that were nominated, phenomenal seniors in high school. Ava was just a step above people on this. So without further ado, everybody, if I could have you stand and applaud our 2021 Youth of the Year, Ava Samanek. Come on up, Ava. We're going to first present you with your scholarship. Come on up. Come on up. We're going to present you with your scholarship and your citation from Representative Minicucci. We'll let your family take a pic. All right. No going anywhere, Ava. All right. So our Youth of the Year always gives a good speech. And I know this is going to be phenomenal. I have probably stressed her out because I've been counting down every single day, 106 hours, 96 hours, all the way to yesterday was 24 hours. So I haven't heard this. I think the only one lucky enough to hear it was her amazing mom. I think we're hanging on our seat as a staff, hearing what Ava has to say. So without further ado, I'll shut up, and this is your Youth of the Year.
Sometimes you just don't realize something is missing until you find it. 4 short years ago, I was content with my life as a freshman. I loved North Andover High School. I had a great group of friends. I enjoyed playing field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse. I loved my family. I truly felt that I had a blessed life. I didn't realize anything was missing or could be better until the magic of the youth center entered my life. I have gained so much through the youth center, and it has made me realize that there is more out there and a greater purpose for me. The youth center helped me to experience a joy and fulfillment that gave new depth and meaning to my life that I didn't know was lacking. I am so grateful that I was able to experience what I didn't know was missing. I am honored to be receiving this award. I remember well when I was an underclassman volunteering at this event, peeking my head in to intently listen to the Youth of the Year speech. And I am still amazed that tonight I am the recipient. As we all know, there are 10 other seniors here tonight receiving an award, so I would like to congratulate. I am inspired by all of you, and it has been a privilege to work and volunteer alongside you all. The passion, leadership, and optimism each of you bring to everything you do at the Youth Center pushes me to be a better version of myself. I first became involved with the Youth Center as a freshman in high school through the Youth Council Leadership Group. This community service group completely changed my path, and I feel humbled to have had experiences through Youth Council that opened my eyes to the need in and around our community. A pivotal moment for me was volunteering at the Lawrence Boys and Girls Club, serving dinners with Youth Council. To see the pure joy and excitement of hundreds of children from receiving a single gift and a catered meal is an image I will never forget. From that moment on, I knew I wanted to contribute and be of assistance to those in need, and Youth Council gave me the opportunity to begin to do this. One of my proudest accomplishments while in Youth Council was the creation of what is now known as the Friendship Dance. During my freshman year of Youth Council, I posed the idea of creating a dance in an environment where special needs students would feel comfortable and uplifted. I had volunteered at the Special Olympics Crusader basketball program through the Youth Center that winter, so I experienced firsthand how truly amazing these athletes are. Although the sport of basketball is what brought us together, anyone who has attended a practice knows it is more about spending time with one another, and sometimes that means chasing each other across the court in an intense game of tag instead of actually playing basketball. Perhaps the person who knows this best is Kyle Palladino. Kyle not only helps organize the Crusaders practices, but he also led Youth Council my freshman and sophomore years. I am so thankful to Kyle for many reasons, but especially for fully supporting my idea of the Friendship Dance from the first time I mentioned it. He then continued to work so passionately with me for the next year to make this idea a reality. The Friendship Dance in the spring of my sophomore year was a night I will always look back fondly upon, and I thank you again, Kyle, for always believing in me and everything I do. After my first year of volunteering at the Youth Center, I knew I wanted to immerse myself even more in the Youth Center culture. I started working there in the winter of my sophomore year of high school, and I immediately loved it. The Youth Center is a one-of-a-kind place where the staff is as close as family. It is a place where the norm is to be inclusive and kind. It is a place where the staff and members are always valued and recognized for their contributions. It is a place where the people who surround you inspire you in positive ways every day. The Youth Center full-time staff is always lifting up and encouraging others, whether it is its employees or the countless members who pass through daily. I would like to thank our Assistant Director, Demi, for always taking the time to check in on me, no matter how many things she was juggling. Whether that meant receiving a thoughtful message from her or a text exchange where we bonded over our love of Grey's Anatomy. Demi, I admire the warmth you bring into every room you enter and your constant effort to make others feel welcome at the Youth Center. Next, I want to thank Lauren for always being kind to me and for creating a positive atmosphere at work where the staff is encouraged to be themselves and share laughs. I will always cherish the advice you've given me and our special moments when it is just the two of us on Monday nights. I would also like to thank Aisha for being a genuine and compassionate person, someone I feel fully comfortable coming to about anything and who I consider a close friend. In the past year, I've been so lucky to create a special bond with you, Aisha. But I also admire the way you have been able to make deep connections with many of the other staff as well. Working and volunteering at the Youth Center gave me a genuine fulfillment that I was unable to find anywhere else. I think it will always be the special little moments that I remember most when I look back at my time at the Youth Center. Like the many times I worked the front desk, it always made me smile to be the first person greeting a middle schooler on their first day at the Youth Center. I have been touched by many children over the years. Brian and Miguel will always hold a special place in my heart. I remember trying my best to speak Spanish to them when they were new members to help them feel more comfortable because they had recently moved here from the Dominican Republic and spoke little English. And at Special Olympics, I embraced the opportunity to be the only volunteer to run the drills twice when asked by both athletes, Sydney and Savannah, to be their partner. As a summer fun counselor for 5 to 8-year-olds, I will always remember the great joy of having a young girl on each side of me wanting to hold my hand or asking me to sit with her at snack time. Working at Summer Fun is so uniquely special because, as Rick always says, the 4 hours a child spends at camp could be the best 4 hours of their entire day. This is a reward that makes working at Summer Fun not feel like a job at all. All of these small moments through my Youth Center experiences have contributed to making me who I am today, and I am endlessly grateful to Rick for making it all possible. Rick, I want to thank you for genuinely caring about me as a person and for always making a conscious effort to ask about my family or other important things in my life. What I admire the most about Rick is that he has not lost an ounce of passion for the Youth Center over the years, and he challenges himself and the people around him to be better with each new day. I am especially thankful to you, Rick, for never relenting on keeping the Youth Center open during the pandemic. I believe I speak for many people when I say the Youth Center was a source of light in a time of great darkness. I would lastly like to thank my family, my parents and my 2 brothers, Thomas and Matthew. I am truly blessed to have 4 people as incredible as you all in my life that unconditionally support and love me. You mean more to me than anything in the world, and I will be forever proud to be your sister and daughter. I feel strongly that it is our duty to help others and to contribute to those in need, even if what you give is simply your time and undivided attention. I believe that volunteering has just as great, if not a greater impact on the volunteer as the person the volunteer is serving. With this realization, I decided to major in humanitarian studies next year at Fordham University and hope to pursue a career in the nonprofit sector. As the great Gandhi once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I am forever indebted to the Youth Center for helping me find myself and not only discover my greatest passion, but allowing me to live out that passion each time I stepped into the Youth Center. They say you do not know what you have until it's gone, but often it is also true that you do not know what you're missing until you find it. For me, my involvement with the Youth Center was the missing link that I didn't realize was absent from my life until I found it. For this, I will be eternally grateful. Thank you.
Great job, Ava, and a great message to all of us. I know we're up against the clock a little bit. I know we got dinner reservations, I think, at 8 over there at that table. What we'd like to do is, if parents want to mingle for a little more, we got some food over there, and obviously the bar is still open. We would like all of our recipients to come down to Kaylee's balloon thing so we can take some pictures. And families, feel free to take pictures around the site here, whatever. So, again, I want to thank the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center, Inc., the Youth Council, for allowing us to have this tonight. I think it was a great night. I think this is the way we do want to go going forward, to have a special night where we're not up against the clock and we can really celebrate all of the kids that are here tonight in our Youth of the Year. So one last round of applause to all of our scholarship winners tonight. Thank you, everybody. And if we can have our recipients down by the balloons, that'll be great.